This is Nightline, and I'm Liyana Hassanel. The top stories. Inquest into the death of student Zara Karina Mahader to be expedited. And Zionist regime begins preparing for forcible displacement of Palestinians from Gaza City. Good morning. Attorney General Tan Sri Muhammad Dusuki Mokhtar said his office would apply for the inquest into the death of Zara Karina Mahader to be expedited. The inquest is expected to begin either at the end of this month or in early September, subject to the availability of the coroner's court and the lawyers involved. When contacted, Dusuki confirmed that the forensic pathologist's recorded statement has been obtained. The autopsy report, however, is still being prepared and is expected to be finalized soon, in time for the inquest hearing. On Wednesday, the Attorney General's Chambers, AGC, ordered for an inquest to be held into Zaras' death to determine whether there were criminal elements involved. The decision was made after reviewing the investigation report submitted by the police. The 13-year-old student was found unconscious at 4 a.m. on July 16th after allegedly falling from the third floor of her school's hostel in Papar, Sabah. She died at the Queen Elizabeth I Hospital in Kota Kinabalu the following day. Her body was exhumed on August 9th for a post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, Hamid Ismail, the lawyer representing the victim's mother, Noraidah Lamat, stated that the inquest application into Zara's death is scheduled to be mentioned at the Kota Kinabalu Coroner's Court at 9 a.m. on Monday.
Jadi, coroner akan menentukan tarikh yang sesuai bagi prosiding dimulakan. Kami pula akan memohon kepada mahkamah untuk dibenarkan terlibat secara langsung dalam prosiding inquest dalam menyoal saksi-saksi yang dipanggil oleh pendakwaan.
Hamid added that Monday's proceedings are also expected to determine the number of witnesses and relevant parties to be called to give evidence and their testimonies. In the meantime, police will resubmit the investigation paper on the case of Zara to the AGC on Monday. The move followed additional probes carried out by the Special Task Force from Bukit Aman. In a statement on Sunday, Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Director Dato M. Kumar said police had recorded statements from 195 witnesses. The recorded statements included those of students, teachers, medical officers, wardens, security personnel, parents, and other individuals deemed material to the case. He added that the investigation focuses on two key aspects: inquest-related elements and possible criminal elements, such as bullying and the spread of false information. Kumar also urged the public not to speculate or incite sentiments that could cause disharmony, stressing that police were committed to investigating the case thoroughly and transparently without shielding any party. In another development, Deputy Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said that 3 police officers serving in Sabah who were involved in the initial investigation into Zara's death will be called in for questioning on Monday. The disciplinary investigation against the district police chief, the head of the Criminal Investigation Division, and the investigating officer is being conducted by a team from the Bukit Aman Integrity and Standards Compliance Department, GIPS.
Kesihatan JIP ni tidak hanya akan tertumpu kepada 3 pegawai saja. Kemungkinan lepas kami ambil segmen ni, kemungkinan ada lagi segmen-segmen tambahan yang kita akan ambil lah. Mungkin ada lain pegawai yang terlibat, kita akan ambil sekali lah.
On whether any action had been taken against the 3 officers, Ayub Khan stated that it would be decided once the investigation is complete. He added that the JIPS team is already in Kota Kinabalu to carry out follow-up measures. Earlier, a special task force from Bukit Aman's Criminal Investigation Department had detected non-compliance with investigation procedures in the case after the investigating officer failed to apply for a post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, authorities are awaiting information from TikTok in the probe of a user who falsely claimed to be a surgeon involved in Zara Karina's post-mortem. Communications Minister Datuk Fahmi Fadzil said the investigation is being handled by the police and the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC).
Kami sedang menunggu daripada pihak TikTok untuk membantu siasatan dan saya serahkan kepada pihak PDRM dan MCMC untuk mendapatkan maklumat itu dan mengambil tindakan berdasarkan undang-undang.
Previously, it was reported that the TikTok user had claimed in a live stream that he had been present during the post-mortem on August 10th. However, checks by the Health Ministry confirmed that he was neither a specialist nor a staff member. Fahmi also stated on Saturday that various claims made by the individual during the live stream regarding the case were entirely baseless. The contract doctor system, which has prompted many medical practitioners to leave the public healthcare service, is set to be abolished. Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad stated that the ministry is currently conducting a study to identify a comprehensive and conclusive solution. According to Zulkifli, the system was first introduced in 2016 as a temporary measure to deal with the oversupply of medical graduates.
Kita dah lama sangat. 2025, 2026, 9 over years. We are still on contract. Interim. Jadi ini yang saya isyaratkan. Kita mengarah kepada kita akan berusaha ke arah untuk menamatkan era kontrak doctors ini.
He added that the Health Ministry is committed to resolving the issue promptly for the welfare of doctors and the long-term sustainability of the public healthcare system. Earlier this month, Zulkifli gave his assurance that the government is listening to doctors' concerns, values their contributions, and stands firmly with them. Previously, he also announced that 4,352 medical officers under grade UD10 will be appointed on a permanent basis into the public service by the end of this year. On another matter, Dr. Zulkifli revealed that about 10,800 patients in Malaysia are currently waiting to receive organ donations as of last month. This marks a 5.4% increase compared to last year, with the majority involving patients in need of kidneys, livers, hearts, and lungs. While many people have registered as organ donors, Dr. Zulkifli noted that securing consent from family members continues to be the biggest hurdle in boosting organ donation rates.
Sifatnya adalah multifaktorial. Ya, kita tak buat kajian apa sebenarnya untuk kita tahu. Tapi rata-ratanya kebenaran daripada waris adalah pengalaman utama yang perlu kita atasi. Sebab itu kita datang dengan kempen tema derma organ, warisku, hormati, ingkaraku.
He said this after officiating the National Organ and Tissue Donation Awareness Week in Kuala Lumpur on Sunday. According to him, posthumous organ donation rates remain low, with only 46 cases recorded last year, equivalent to 1.33 donors per million population. From 1997 until last month, 404,975 Malaysians have pledged to become organ donors. There will be no compromise for military personnel who collude with criminals to leak the nation's security information. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi emphasized that such actions tarnish the reputation of the security forces who are entrusted with safeguarding the country's sovereignty.
Yang harus menjalankan amanah dengan baik, bukan menggunakan pangkat atau jawatan ataupun kedudukan di dalam sebuah pasukan pertahanan ataupun pasukan keselamatan itu untuk melakukan kerja-kerja di luar lunas undang-undang.
Zahid was commenting on the recent arrest of 5 military officers suspected of leaking intel to a syndicate, enabling smuggling activities in the country's southern region. Previously, it was reported that 10 individuals were arrested around the Klang Valley, including 2 former military officers turned journalists. They are alleged to have been part of a syndicate smuggling contraband, including drugs from a neighboring country, raking in about 5 million ringgit a month. Every proposed asset procurement by the Defence Ministry, Mindf, will now be reviewed jointly with the Malaysian Armed Forces, MAF, as the end user. Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said this step is crucial to ensure that all defence assets meet operational needs, as well as comply with safety standards and suitability. In a statement, Khalid stressed that Mindf has always adhered to the principles of accountability and integrity in handling the nation's defence procurements. He added that any acquisition will only be made based on actual needs of the MAF and after a comprehensive evaluation of market prices. This approach is in line with the Madani government's agenda to strengthen governance and ensure transparency in all procurement matters. On Saturday, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim ordered Mindf to scrap its plan to procure Black Hawk helicopters that are more than 30 years old. As the Supreme Commander of the Malaysian Armed Forces, he also warned Mindf not to repeat past mistakes in defence procurement, often stemming from the influence of agents and middlemen. The investigation into the attack on the son of former Economy Minister Datuk Seri Rafi Ramli has been transferred to Bukit Aman's Criminal Investigation Department. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Shazli Kahar, who confirmed the matter, said the move is intended to allow for a more comprehensive and centralized investigation. He also urged anyone with information to contact the nearest police station to assist the investigation. Earlier, 14 individuals were called to provide statements concerning the attack and the threatening messages received by his wife. On Wednesday, police confirmed that Rafizi's son had been dragged and stabbed with a syringe in the pickup and drop-off zone of a shopping mall in Putrajaya. Rafizi alleged that the attack on his son, as well as the threats received by his wife, were intended to silence him from exposing a scandal. Not just short-term measures, but continuous efforts through incentive programs and expanded market opportunities. That is part of the initiatives by UDA Holdings Berhad in empowering high-impact local entrepreneurs, particularly Bumiputra. This time, the effort was realized through the Carnival UDA bersama Bis Francais Perbadanan Nasional Berhad Pernas, held at Buhavan Square in Penampang, Sabah. The three-day Carnival UDA bersama Bis Francais Pernas, which kicked off on Friday, was launched by Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Minister Dato' Iwan Benedict. The event was regarded as a conducive platform for local entrepreneurs and formed part of UDA's continued commitment to strengthening their position, particularly among the Bumiputra community, enabling them to compete effectively and grow sustainably. Through its strategic collaboration with Pernas, UDA provided a sales platform for more than 70 entrepreneurs across sectors such as food, fashion, handicrafts, and services. Another 100 small traders were also given space throughout the carnival. Visitors and entrepreneurs were also able to access information, advisory services, guidance sessions, and financing opportunities from agencies under the Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Ministry, KUSKOP.
Dengan adanya business matching, pembiayaan daripada agensi-agensi di bawah KUSKOP dan satu ekosistem ini kita dapat melihat dari segi pembangunan usahawan itu sendiri ke arah berdaya saing di market nanti, di pasaran nanti.
The synergy between UDA and Pernas made the carnival more inclusive and impactful, in line with KUSKOP's aspiration to creating a conducive entrepreneurial ecosystem that reaches grassroots levels. Total sales throughout the carnival were targeted to reach up to 4.25 million ringgit. Man suspected of setting fire to a tow truck arrested. More from the local front after this breather.
Setiap kali tas tu memang agak struggle lah saya sebab nak training dengan tekanan. Sebab kita main dengan teknikal, macam risiko boleh jadi.
Sebelum tu saya buat event biasa iaitu double horse and jockey. Ketika depan audien, depan VIP saya jatuh. Melibatkan bahu kiri saya tercabut. Berdebar tu setiap kali membuat persembahan mesti ada perasaan tu lah.
Masuk hutan, selam lautan dan tinjau wildlife beraksi dalam Arabian Seas. Africa's Hunters musim pertama. Chasing the Rains. Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Alien Abyss. Layan Animal Documentary di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Lelaki itu lemah. Saya ada jin itu. Oh, boleh tunaikan unlimited rewards. Ingatkan lelaki jin tak cukup satu.
Lagi layan dengan Tonton Up. Rewards non-stop. Nak ni, nak tu. Semua untuk korang. Langgan Tonton RM9.90 je. Baru puas.
Welcome back. In many parts of the world, stray cats and dogs have become a common sight, lounging under parked cars, waiting outside restaurants, or even trailing behind friendly faces. While they are often overlooked, a growing number of animal lovers are making sure these furry wanderers never go hungry. Nightline's Muhammad Nadir Asfar reports.
Nowadays, stray cats and dogs can be spotted just about anywhere. From bustling eateries to quiet housing areas, in the heart of the city or even in remote villages, these four-legged wanderers are a regular feature of daily life. They roam at all hours, sniffing around for food, rummaging through garbage bins for a quick bite, and often just waiting patiently for a kind soul to share some leftovers. However, some unsung heroes have stepped in during these strays' time of need, offering food, comfort, and a little kindness. Dermatologist by day, animal feeder by night, Dr. Kartini Farah Abdul Rahim swaps examining skin for caring for fur once the workday ends.
I've been feeding stray dogs since I was in primary school. I was raised in a household that has guard dogs, and I always admired their loyalty, intelligence, and for being loving animals to us. We also took care of few stray dogs, and they came to our house and we fed them.
Dr. Kartini Farah is also calling for more effective solutions to address the rising stray population, stressing that the current catch-and-kill approach has proven ineffective.
KNRM is whereby you trap, neuter and release and manage the dogs. There's a vacuum effect whereby if you take the dogs away from the area, there's an empty space there that will be filled by another group of dogs. And if you leave the neutered dogs there, they will guard the area and they don't reproduce, and this will stabilize the population naturally.
Meanwhile, 76-year-old Dana Lechumi Krishnan has been feeding stray animals around her home and workplace for almost 30 years. Working as a cleaner, Lechumi cares for the strays using her own money, while also receiving donated food from those around her.
Saya pagi turun ini biskuit. Ambil simpan, pagi balik kerja kasih. Nanti balik lagi air taruh, ini kasih biskuit. Lepas pergi masak lagi turun pukul 7.30, 8 turun.
Lalu berapa kali sehari nanti bagi makan?
Pagi kan petang balik kan pukul 4 tadi kasih biskuit. Nanti malam nasi. 3 kali.
She also calls for more people to show compassion towards the animals, urging the public not to resort to violence or harm.
Orang tak ada jaga. Saya kalau tak ada, susah. Orang mari dia pukul. Marah. MP PJ panggil. Dia angkat balik. Tak ada kacau. Tak ada suka diam. Dia tak ada gigi. Diam saja.
These two individuals are only some of the many out there quietly making a difference, proving that compassion, no matter how small, can ripple far beyond a single meal.
In dimly lit alleys and roadside corners such as this one behind me, caring hands place food into worn plastic bowls. For many of these cats and dogs, this may be the only meal they have today. a small act of kindness which for them means survival. Muhammad Nadia Asfar, TV3.
Over 300 tons of electronic waste, or e-waste, along with various equipment and machinery, estimated to be worth 8.2 million ringgit, were seized in Sungai Petani, Kedah on Sunday. The seizure was made during a joint raid at an illegal e-waste processing factory located in Tikam Batu at 11:45 a.m. During the raid, 6 foreign workers, 5 Bangladeshis and 1 Chinese national were detained. Authorities also found hundreds of packages containing copper and electrical wires at the scene. The integrated operation was conducted by the Federal Reserve Unit Intelligence Branch at Bukit Aman, together with the Department of Environment and Tikam Batu Police Station. The case is being investigated for violations under the Environmental Quality Act, as well as for immigration offences. In Johor, police have arrested a man suspected of setting fire to a tow truck belonging to the Johor Bahru City Council MBJB. The incident, which occurred last Friday, stemmed from the suspect's anger after his car was towed, as he had no money to pay the compound. The incident occurred at around 11 a.m. inside the MBJB impound at the Johor Bahru waterfront. CCTV footage shows the suspect pouring petrol and igniting the vehicle, causing losses estimated at about 10,000 ringgit. The man was arrested about 2 hours after the incident. Johor Bahru Selatan District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Raup Slamat said the suspect has been remanded for 5 days until this Tuesday. The case is being investigated under Section 435 of the Penal Code for committing mischief by fire. Checks showed the suspect had a prior drug-related record. However, his urine test came back negative. Scores injured as quake rocks Sulawesi. The details when Nightline returns.
Rumah kedai jadi sarang parti.
Saya lupa tak? Tangkap ada? Memang lupa dia. Saya you kan? 20.
Sembunyi tak? Penipuan deepfake ancam keselamatan pengguna.
Tada! Inilah dia cinta hati saya, sambal menyengat by Zafran. Ini bukan reseller, bukan dropship, bukan semua bukan.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Juara! Ada juara lagi ke 13.
Alah, tengah sedap tergantung pula. Sabar jap, biar abang yang setelkan bil Tonton.
Tak perlu overthinking, just keep watching. Lagi mudah bayar bil Tonton terus melalui bil telefon. Pilih telco kegemaran, bayar dan sambung layan sampai tak berhenti.
Masuk hutan, selam lautan dan tinjau wildlife beraksi dalam Arabian Seas. Epicus Hunters musim pertama. Chasing the Rains. Epicus Hunters musim kedua. Alien Abyss. Layan Animal Documentary di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. The Israeli military began preparing for the forcible displacement of Palestinians from Gaza City, as health officials said the Zionist regime had killed at least 40 people on Saturday, including a baby in a tent and people seeking aid in its latest attacks. The ruthless military claimed that Gaza residents would be provided with tents and other shelter equipment starting from Sunday, ahead of relocating them from combat zones to the south of the enclave to ensure their safety. It did not say when the mass displacement would begin. However, a spokesperson for the Gaza City municipality said mass displacement was already taking place in Zaytun after 6 days of relentless Israeli airstrikes, shelling and demolition operations. Israel has repeatedly bombed areas it had declared as safe zones. On Saturday, a baby girl and her parents were killed when an Israeli airstrike hit a tent in Al-Mawasi, previously designated a humanitarian zone by Israel in southern Gaza. At least 29 people were injured, including 2 in critical condition, after a magnitude 6.0 earthquake struck central Sulawesi, Indonesia, early Sunday. According to the country's disaster mitigation agency, the quake occurred at about 6:36 a.m. local time at a depth of 10 kilometers and shook Poso Regency, with tremors felt in surrounding areas. Local media reported that a church in the Poso Pesisir sub-district collapsed during the tremor, trapping people inside and leaving 29 injured. All victims have since been taken to the hospital. So far, there have been no immediate reports of fatalities. In other news, Air Canada will resume flights on Sunday after the Canadian Industrial Relations Board acted on a directive from Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu to end a cabin crew strike that grounded around 700 daily flights. In a statement, the board ordered the airline to resume operations and for all Air Canada and Rouge flight attendants to return to work by 2 p.m. local time. The directive came after the government intervened Saturday, imposing binding arbitration to resolve a contract impasse. Air Canada had pushed for this step, but unionized flight attendants strongly opposed it. Thousands of cabin crews staged their first strike since 1985, following months of stalled contract talks. The airline began canceling flights Friday, leaving more than 100,000 travelers stranded. On to sports now, football and the FA Cup. 3 more rounds of 16 matches were played on Sunday. As expected, Sabah FC cruised to a dominant 6-0 win over Bunga Raya FC, while Penang FC clinched a comfortable 2-0 win over Melaka FC. The biggest surprise of the night came from Immigration FC, who pulled off a dramatic 2-1 victory over Terengganu FC in the first leg. After a goalless first half, Yan Mabella put Terengganu ahead in the 50th minute, finishing off a well-worked passing move. But the lead lasted just 4 minutes as Rafael Eiserhardt Holstein struck back with an equalizer, set up by a brilliant run from Elvis Cambosa. And just when the match seemed headed for a draw, Joao Pedro rose high to head home the winning goal in the 91st minute, giving Immigration the advantage ahead of the return leg on September 13th. On to squash now, the 2025 40th National Championships. Duncan Lee continued his giant killing act to win his first national men's title, while Ira Azman bagged her 3rd consecutive women's crown at the championships in Pulau Pinang on Sunday. Sabahan Duncan ranked world number 130, stunned top seed and world number 68 Sanjay Jiva, winning in straight games 11-9, 11-8, 11-8 in 48 minutes at the Nicole David International Squash Center. The victory strengthens Duncan's push to break into the world's top 100. In the women's singles, national number 3 Ira fought back from a game down to beat her elder sister Aifa in 5 sets, 8-11, 11-5, 9-11, 11-6, 11-8. The result mirrors last year's edition in Kuala Lumpur, where Ira also emerged champion and Aifa finished runner-up. Ira's first crown came in 2023 against Nur Aina Amani Ampandi. Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at Indonesia celebrating 80 years of independence from Dutch colonial rule with a grand public festival in Jakarta. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching and have a productive week ahead.